Hey there, how's it going? This is Unlikely Waffle, and welcome to episode 8 of my tutorial series, Survival Life. Today we are going to be doing mining. It's similar to caving, but in a more organized and efficient way. Alright, so let's get started then. I'm going to start over here because there's a little bit of a cave right there, and I don't want to accidentally open up into it when I'm mining. But basically, when you start off with mining, before you start even, you want to make sure you have plenty of resources, which includes a lot of axes. I like to keep on hand quite a few stone axes to go right through the stone. And I'm keeping the iron pickaxes just for mining the ores. Because with any other axe lower than that, such as stone or wood, you cannot collect those ores, as I've said before. I also want to keep several shovels because there will probably be pockets of dirt and or gravel inside these mine shafts that we're going to be creating. As well as just a bow and arrow just in case we find any monsters. You also want to have some dirt and cobblestone on hand when you're creating these shafts, because you might hit a lava pool eventually. And the reason I'd rather go with stone axes over iron pickaxes for mining is mainly because the stone ones, I can create those really easily and quickly. And there's plenty of stone to go around for them. But with the iron, you first have to find pockets of the iron, and then smelt it, and then you have to create it after that. So it's a little bit more of a valuable tool, where the stone can go through it just fine, and you can create it almost immediately. Alright, so let's go start. There are two main types of mining, which I will be explaining to you today. There are actually a lot of different types of mining around, most of which you can read about on the wiki page. So I recommend going there and reading about all the different types and see which one is right for you. But these are the two types I'm going to explain today. The first one is called strip mining, which is where you clear an entire level of blocks. This is mainly used for flattening out mountains though. It's not really good for caves, but it's applicable. The second one, which I am going to be showing you definitely, is called branch mining. That's where, pretend here that this is an entire level of blocks. That's where you take your axe and you go in and you create a shaft right through there. And then you go over 2 blocks and then you create another one going through. This way you expose all the blocks and any ore veins that might be in there. Say for instance all the blocks on this wall you can see from this shaft. And all the blocks that would be on this wall here from this shaft. And then on top of this, you go up 2 more blocks on top of that. And you do the exact same thing. That way, almost all the blocks you can find are exposed. Now let's say, for instance, this is the top of your bottom shaft. And that's the bottom of your top shaft above this block here. These 2 blocks here wouldn't necessarily be seen. However, that's alright in my opinion because any ore veins that might be found by clearing out this shaft will most likely connect to any ores that are inside these 2 blocks which are not immediately exposed. If you want, instead of making the shafts right on top of each other like this, you could instead come over 1 block and create the tunnel on top of this block instead. So that way you have quite a few more blocks visible. Alright, so let me just clear this and let's get started. Alright, so I've chosen this wall, as I said before, because this cave up here is a little bit too low for my liking, so I'm just going to come over to the right of it and just start burrowing right in. You also want to make, now see, this is why you want to have a bucket of water on you, just in case. You also want to make sure that you have plenty of torches to go along with you. And yeah, let's see, that's a lot of lava right there. So we are just going to place the bucket of water and drown it all out. And now we're safe for a little while at least. Oh look, redstone. And if you come into little spots like this, you can either fill them in or you could just leave them as is and continue your shaft on in the exact same path that you would be otherwise. You just don't have to use as many resources. And if you find ores in the bottom of your shaft, just fill in the floor and keep going. Once you've decided you've gone far enough, as you can see, I put a block about halfway through just to keep mobs from coming in. Once you're done with this, you just turn to your right or left, either way you want, and you just plow through 3 blocks. This being 0, so we do 1, 2, and these will be our exposed walls, and then this block here is going to be the one that we start our new tunnel on. So here's our first tunnel and our new one, and then just keep going. Now see this redstone here? That was probably left over from the strain that we found on the other wall. It's pretty common for strains of ore to do that. And you see here how water just seems to be leaking through these. That's because that's an option you can turn on by going to options, and I just have it easy so I don't get attacked too much while I'm down here. You go from there to video settings, and there you hit particles. Particles, in this instance, are bits of liquids like water and lava that you can see seeping through ceilings. When you see them, that means that that liquid is right on the top side of that block above your head. Particles are also other bits, such as bubbles you see when you get poisoned, as well as the white stars you get from a charged attack. Remember to head back every time or every little while or so and drop off any stuff you might have found. That way, in case you die, nothing gets destroyed. And you can either block off these entrances or you can keep them open to explore at a later time. Now that I'm finished with both of these tunnels, I'm ready to move up a level. So what we do is we just take the top of our shaft, that one, make that the bottom of our next shaft. So our next shaft is actually starting at that block and at that block. Those are our 2 blocks there. I like to do it just straight above, but you can definitely move over one if you want more blocks exposed. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that was a witch. They throw potions at you. I'll get around to them in a future episode, but just know they are dangerous. Okay then, so now that I have plenty of resources collected from my travels down here in the ravine, it's time to bring everything right back up to our home. So I'm going to take this chest that I built a while back, as well as take anything else I can possibly carry from in here. Anything else? Nope. Okay. Make sure there's no monsters around here. It's daylight because I just slept. Gonna bring everything back up this waterfall here and set it right at the top of the ravine so that way I don't have to keep coming back down here every time I want to make another trip. When I'm traveling up a waterfall like this, I like to balance myself right on the edge of the water. That way I'm still safely within it, but I'm not running out of air. Now I am back home and everything is here and organized into a few new chests, as you can see. Thank you for watching today. I hope you had fun. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and comment, and I will talk to you next time. So long, everyone.